Hi everyone, so I just wanted to follow up on the lit review. I had a few questions after class and I realised that I didn't explain things perhaps quite as well as I should have done. So your lit review, your individual lit review is due on October 7th. This is what you need to think about as you start to prepare for your individual lit review. So your individual lit review should respond to and think about the topics that are going to help you understand this project. Right? So this is the project that your lit review is trying to work towards becoming more familiar with. Now your lit review is not going to answer these questions, right? We're not looking to answer them. We're just looking to become more informed about the topics that are involved. So, we went over in class about some of those topics. We kind of went through these, what are some of the overlapping topics, right? So it could be about students and their interests in downtown type of areas. It could be how to communicate with students, through communications channels and social media and so on. So make sure you're super familiar with these research questions and this research purpose statement, and figure out, what are some topics that you could research about by reading literature to become more informed about them. Now, your individual lit review does not need to answer all of these questions. That's too much, right? Your individual lit review is too small to answer all of these questions or respond or be more informed about or cover all of the topics that are listed in these research questions. So my advice to you is that as a group, you brainstorm and you think about some of the different topics that you might want to research. And you might have to go back and forth a bit. You might have to do a bit of research looking for things on Google Scholar in the library and then reassess what topics you want to cover and then go back and read a bit more, right? So it might not be like a complete list and when you get it done first time. You might have to go back and forth a little bit with your group, but that would be my recommendation, is that you work together as a group to think about what are some of the topics that we want to cover. And we covered some of those in class yesterday, so hopefully you remember those. Things like what do we know about TMU students? What do we know about downtown Young area already? And then some kind of more connected topics that aren't necessarily directly connected to TMU students in downtown Young, but things that we can overlap. So figure that list out as a group, and then as an individual, take a couple of those and you do a lit review on a couple of those. Now you might find as a group, you might want to double up a couple because there might be some that are a bit more complex or that require a bit more thought or a bit more research. But you could spread them out across your group so that as a group, you're kind of covering your bases, because your final group paper has to have a lit review that helps you become more informed about all of these topics, okay? So that's my advice. Figure out what your topics are going to be as a group and then split them up amongst your group members as best you can. And it might not be perfect, but at least you're kind of covering your bases as much as you can. And so a reminder, this is your individual lit review that's due October 7th. So it has to include all of these things. You have to have that declaration of GenI usage. If you're unsure of that, go to the slides from yesterday's class. It's also on D2L. Has to have that intro paragraph that basically summarizes this information. It includes this information, right? That this is the anchor to all of our assignments from now on. So you borrow from this, and then you need 3 paragraphs after that, and each paragraph is going to be one topic that is connected to the research questions that we've covered, and that paragraph should summarize the literature on that point, on that topic. So it should have a couple of, at least 2, ideally more, in-text citations that draw from the information that you've read and take and can kind of summarize and synthesize information on that topic. So I encourage you also, the academic integrity module will help you understand some of this, to how about creating an outline, how to paraphrase, and how to synthesize some of that information. So do that now, do it sooner or later. You do need to do that before you get access to this Dropbox. And come to class next week. I'll give you some time in class next week to work in your groups and to come and ask me questions as well to make sure you're on the right track. All right, speak to you soon.